They say that good help is often hard to find, and if you're former President Donald Trump, it's even harder. According to Rolling Stone, Donald Trump is struggling to find legal counsel. I know. Shocker. Uh, According to the report, Trump has been rejected by lawyers, lots of different lawyers, many lawyers, tremendous lawyers, because of several different reasons. Mainly because he's a infamously difficult client whose January 6th case amounts to what they're referring to, some of them, as a suicide mission. Wow. So now let me give you some details here. According to Rolling Stone, one attorney who turned down Trump told the magazine that they were dissuaded by the long track record of Trump's lawyers finding themselves in their own legal jeopardy. I don't want to. I don't want part of that. Yeah, Donald Trump does have a history of having his lawyers do illegal things, or asking his lawyers to do illegal things, asking his employees to do illegal things. Kind of a track record, and anybody who's smart really doesn't want to get involved in that. Now, other attorneys who have discussed the case with Trump believe that the case on January 6th is a certain loser for the defense, given that the trial would be held in Deep Blue, D.C. Even some of Trump's top legal and political advisors have privately called the job of defending Trump a quote-unquote suicide mission. The report added, so it's not like the Mar-a-Lago case that's actually being heard in Florida. And in front of a very friendly judge, Judge Aline Cannon. But it's not just a very real possibility that they could blow the case. It's also the reputational damage that any lawyer who represents Trump could possibly take from representing him. The report describes lawyers who approached the Trump team themselves, and they were interested. They were initially receptive. And then they decided to pull out because of concerns from their peers. So it's almost like friends don't let friends represent Donald Trump. Oh, yo, it's like taking away the keys. Like, trust me, you don't want to do this. This is not going to end up good. I know, big shiny thing in front of you. Big golden, bronzed, shiny thing in front of you. Please, don't do it. Think of your family. Think of your friend. Think of your job. Think of us, your friends. We're here to help you. It's an intervention. Don't throw your life away on Donald Trump. Don't throw away your reputation. Don't throw away your career. Look at all the other lawyers. Look at Rudy Giuliani, represented Donald Trump. Look at Alan Dershowitz, who represented Trump. Look at all the look at Christina Bobb and Alina Habba. You don't want to end up like them, do you? Oh God, no. Oh Jesus. Oh, okay. Oh, never mind. They added that partners at some firms objected to taking on a former president as a client because it could cost them other clients. I know I got a little bit dramatic there, but you know. Now, I mentioned Alan Dershowitz, by the way. Well, guess what? Alan Dershowitz also not interested. They asked him, and he's like,
No, 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 no.
No. Nope. I'm not going to do. Good luck with that, though. Have fun. So it's not looking good for him. And again, like everything with Donald Trump, this is a situation that was unsurprisingly self-inflicted. I know, he did it to himself. In fact, Trump in private has implied to his legal team that he is going to use any potential January 6th trial to prove or to push his widely debunked election fraud claims, and wants his lawyers, to show proof that the election was stolen. Well, good luck with that. Because if they had proof, don't you think that would have been presented years ago? Don't you think it would have been presented in these 60 different court cases that Rudy Giuliani had brought to the states, that the Trump campaign had brought to the states and lost because guess what? They didn't have the evidence to claim that there was widespread fraud. So it's asking an impossible task. An impossible task. I really do not envy any lawyer that has decided to take on that monumental task because it's just not going to work. But, on Wednesday, Trump had said this about him, going to trial and even getting put on the stand. He said, quote, "We'll have fun in the stand with all of these people that say that the presidential election wasn't rigged and Stalin." Yes, Stalin, as in two L's, stolen, Stalin, whatever. Trump wrote on Truth Social. But, okay, so that would be fun, but it's probably not going to happen. Any lawyer that's worth anything knows that if you put Donald Trump on the stand, it's essentially over. The guy's going to perjure himself like 14 different times and then contradict himself all in the span of like 10 minutes. But, by the way, that said, he has found some legal representation. It's not as like, it's not like he's left without any legal representation. He found someone. In fact, last week, he added attorney John Lauro to his team. Now, Lauro had previously represented Donald Trump's other lawyers, Alina Habba and Christina Bobb. And so he's quite familiar with all of this stuff, with obviously Donald Trump's case and the allegations against him, and exactly the way that Trump wants to be represented. And he showcased that during a recent Fox News interview where he came out swinging.
A sitting president is using the Department of Justice to go after a political opponent criminally while that political opponent is leading in the polls. And it's quite interesting. On Sunday night, the president gets an invitation to appear before a grand jury. In the same week that Joe Biden is ensnarled in a massive bribery allegation, President Trump did absolutely nothing wrong. He's done nothing criminal, and he's made his case that he was entitled to take these positions as president of the United States. When he saw all these election discrepancies and irregularities going on, he did what any president was required to do because he took an oath to do exactly that.
Brilliant, brilliant. That's exactly what Donald Trump is looking for. So he knows exactly the talking points that he's going to use and the defense that Trump wants. So perfect. That's going to go very, very well, by the way. This is all a distraction from Joe Biden's bribery, right? The same bribery allegations that have no so-called whistleblowers that actually are going to show up. I mean, where's the whistleblowers? We were promised by James Comer many, many whistleblowers, so many whistleblowers, very, very credible people. Well, so far, they have one that is a literal fugitive that's being charged with being a foreign agent for the Chinese government. That's the guy who's credible. That's the guy who alleges that Joe Biden was bribed by the Chinese government to do things that he was already planning on doing. Right. Sure. And by the way, look, foreign policy with China. I know if you're not paying attention to foreign policy, or you're in right-wing media, you would think that Joe Biden is basically like, we're giving China everything they want. China is coming over and doing everything that they want. Why? Because Joe Biden is also a communist. He is the biggest communist. He is actually Xi Jinping in disguise.
Pink-haired communist.
There he is. It's the pink-haired communists. The invasion of the communists. The Chinese have taken over. They already own this country. I mean, that's if you ask, insane right-wingers like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who thinks the communists are already here and have taken over. But no, in reality, back to reality now, Biden's foreign policy positions on China and the positions of the Democratic Party have actually been kind of antagonistic towards China. At least, especially at the beginning of the Biden administration. Now, it's starting to get a little bit more, well, I can't say warm. Let's say a little less confrontational. Okay? And so, there's been a lot of things. Biden had called President Xi a dictator and then came out and was like, oops. And so, his people at the State Department, Antony Blinken, had to come out and say, no, we didn't actually quite mean that. But, there's been a lot of like foreign policy missteps. There was Nancy Pelosi's trip to China, or not China, sorry, but Taiwan that pissed off China. And so, there's all these different, I guess you could call them microaggressions that have been going on between the United States and China over the past few years. And so to say that Joe Biden was, bribed to be friendly towards China, that's just not the reality. I mean, you guys know how bribes work, right? what did the Chinese get in return? Now, look, these guys, by the way, they know, right wingers, they know politicians, they know how bribes work because they get legal bribes all the time from corporations and multi donors. So, of course, they know how it works. People who are bribed usually do the bidding of those who paid them. That's how it works. That's how it works. Now, could any of these right wingers point to anything special the Biden administration had done for China, had given to China? That's different than any of their previous positions towards China and the Chinese government. Can you think of it? No, what's going on here is it's projection. Okay. So here's Trump's team accusing his political opponent of being bribed by a foreign power in order to harm his re-election chances. That's it. Now, look, you can play at that game. Except in the case of Trump, the allegations against him are actually real. He did try to overturn the election based on a proven lie, and he did attempt to intimidate even Republican officials, election officials, into finding him votes that he didn't earn, like in Georgia. And he encouraged a mob of supporters to threaten the vice president into not certifying the results of the election. These are all facts. These are indisputable. So, I gotta say, any lawyer who represents Trump really does have their work cut out for them. And I hope for their sake, they got paid up front.